Hei og velkommen til Palestinapodden. Her om dagen var vi på en veldig sterk teaterforestilling i Botsparken. Den var et samarbeid mellom Nordic Black Theatre, som holder til på Grønland, og det palestinske teatret, The Freedom Theatre.
The Freedom Theatre er et teater- og kulturhus i Jenin flyktningleir på okkupert Vestbredden. De setter opp profesjonelle teaterproduksjoner, holder teaterverksteder i flyktningleiren, i byen Jenin og landsbyene rundt, tilbyr opplæring i skuespill, pedagogikk, fotografi og publiserer bøker, utstillinger og kortfilmer.
Siden de åpnet dørene i 2006 har de gjort teater og visuell kunst tilgjengelig for alle unge i Jenin flyktningleir. Arbeidet har gjort Jenin flyktningleir kjent i Palestina og internasjonalt for nyskapende og tankevekkende teater og medieproduksjoner. De har skapt en generasjon av kunstnere og ledere som en dag vil stå i spisen for den palestinske frigjørebevegelsen.
Og nå som The Freedom Theatre har vært her i Norge, både i Oslo, Trondheim og litt rundt i Europa også, så tenkte vi må snakke med lederen av The Freedom Theatre, Ahmed Tobasi. Ahmed ble født i Jenin flyktningleir, og hans personlige historie speiler både den væpnede og kulturelle kampen som en del av palestinernes DNA. Etter å ha vokst opp med de voldelige konsekvensene av den israelske okkupasjonen, den første og andre intifadaen, invasjonen og nedbulldosingen av leiren, og etter å ha også blitt skutt på, ble han politisk fange i 4 år da han bare var 17 år. Etter løslatelsen sluttet han seg til The Freedom Theatre, før han senere bodde i Norge, hvor han arbeidet og trente med det prestisjetunge Nordic Black Theatre i Oslo. Han fikk jo også stipend fra Dramatikerforbundet i Norge.
Og så er vi så heldige å også ha med oss Vibeke Harper. Ikke la deg lure av navnet. Hun er fullblods palestiner, som er en norsk konseptkunstner, forfatter og oversetter, basert i Oslo og Ramallah, Palestina. Arbeidet hennes utforsker den vestlige identiteten, dens narrativer og hykleri, gjennom temaer som land og menneskerettigheter, maktstrukturer og hierarki. Den israelske koloniale okkupasjonen av Palestina og den norsk-vestlige tilretteleggingen av den. Det har hatt stor innflytelse på hennes liv og de siste 10 årene, og noe som vi i resten av verden har våknet ganske til nå de siste 10 månedene.
Vibeke våkna bare før alle andre.
Helt riktig. Harper er medkunstnerisk leder for kunstaktivistkollektivet Motforestillinger, som hun driver i samarbeid med Marius Kolbenstvedt i Oslo, og medlem av rådgivende styre ved Tax Theater School. Grunnlagt og drevet av Petra Barghouti, Endam Barghouti, og Eid Aziz Ramallah.
Vi sitter igjen med veldig mange inntrykk av denne episoden. Den er litt lengre enn normalt, men det er absolutt verdt å høre på hvert eneste ord som blir sagt. Kunst er motstand. Det viser både Vibeke og Ahmed i denne episoden, så god lytt og fritt Palestina.
Fritt Palestina.
Vibeke Harper and Ahmed Tobasi, thank you so much for joining us at Palestinapodden.
Thank you for inviting us.
I do want to just say, as we're recording this, the Israeli occupation forces have closed all entrances in the Jenin camp, in what seems to be the worst invasion of Jenin at the moment. So our thoughts go to the people of Jenin, and you're obviously from Jenin as well, visiting Norway. Ahmed, you grew up in Jenin in the occupied West Bank in Palestine and was held as a political prisoner at the age of 17 until you were 21. Is that correct? Can you tell us a little bit about what life was like at that time and just generally growing up in an occupation?
No, it is, for me when I was a child, I really didn't know what is going on. I see people running, there is army, there is a jeep, but I don't know who's these people. Why these people are passing my house in the night? Why they arrest my father? Why they following my neighbor? Why they killing? So for me, a little child watching all of that, and nobody from my family or my friends told me this is bad people or good people. So then there is no propaganda in the Palestinian culture against this occupation. It's just they try to have a normal life. But that's the thing, like when you grow up, you open your eyes on soldiers. And for me, I was considering them as aliens because they always in this green uniform, coming, following curfews. And the only memory I have from these people, it's arresting my father, killing my cousin, hitting me as a young little boy playing in the neighborhood. And you grow up until you become 17, and then you see there is a big invasion that the Israeli army want to invade. And even in the invasion, you see all of what is going on. And in the end, you discover nobody knows what is going on in Palestine. People talk about peace, about conflict, about all these kind of words, but actually nobody knows what is going on. And for us as a young people, we thought that the world is really following. The world know what's going on, the media, the TVs, the news, but you discover there is a bigger game is going on than just us in Palestine. And for me, that was the shock when first time I arrived to Europe. That was the shock. It's like, really, they have no clue what is going on there in Palestine. And you can compare Palestine to other countries and communities in this world where the West, America, West, Israel, this kind of mind where they can control everything and they can send the focus wherever they want. It's not our choice to be on the media or not. And for sure, the West propaganda made everything how we call it,
categorized.
Yes, like a groups, and it's become like really a frames. You are Al-Qaeda, or you are ISIS, or you are Arab, or you are Muslims, or you are African, you are South American. And all of that, by even you say it, you will have already a picture of these people, and you will be not really have any feeling to them or have sorry for them, or because you already made a propaganda that made controlling your mind how to think and how to react to this kind of names. One of them was Palestinians, where we already have been changed to like a picture of terrorism and killing Jewish people, all of that. So it took long time now to come here and people start to see a different picture. But that's the problem. You have to pay a very, very big price to make people realize. Yes.
Can you tell us about the time in prison? What happened before you went to prison, and what happened inside
Which
the
time?
prison? When you were 17.
Yeah, in 17. You know, it's like, I thought as a little man, 17 years old, I never have, I saw all these actions, but not real war in a way. And for me, I thought like it's a cartoon movie, it's like the soldiers will come, we will defend our home, and they will go back. That's the thinking. But when I was in the house, a high house, looking to the field, where I start to see like hundreds of jeeps, tanks, helicopters. You see the Merkava Shalosh, they call it the Merkava 3. It's like when it walks, everything shaking. And I said, stop, there is something wrong. This is not what we expect. This is not fair. This is coming for us. And that moment where I was really too scared because I saw it's going to be something else. And when I went down, I tried to tell people, but I was a little boy, so people like, what's wrong with this guy? Like I tell them they are coming. It's not what we think. And then, the night come, they entered, and I lived the 11 days inside the camp. To run from house to house, try to find food, save people. I got shot. And then there is no, let's say, aid for people. Many people died just because injured. Like you cannot go to hospital. Anyone moves, get killed. Soldiers everywhere. No electricity, no water. And in the night I sit down between the alleyways, and you look at the sky. It's like a fireworks. As much as you can imagine, how many bombs, rockets, bullets they're shooting all the time. And you see your friends get killed, you see houses destroyed, you see bodies hanging there or there, and you look at the whole camp, at the streets bulldozed. And for me, when they catch me, I was thinking like no one is going out alive. from what I saw. And then the Israeli captains come talk to you. Who are you? And that's what I remember. It's like the captain of Jenin area, he came talk to me, and because he knew my name, Tobasi is like a family name which is well known in Jenin. And the Jenin operation was made actually after my cousin had an operation in Haifa. And he came directly to me, and the speech was not I'm Palestinian, he's Israeli. He's like telling me, that's your problem in the camp as a people. You should kick these people out. So it's even become our fault as Palestinians. There is some resistance in the area, and we should take them down, not the Israelis. So even they're punishing the people because they're not doing anything against the resistance. And that for me, even in that age, it was a shock. Like how the Israeli mind actually thinking. They believing everyone in this planet should serve them. Everyone, every country, every culture, it's made to make the Israeli people in the top. And for me, that shows a lot until today. And that's why the world actually, for me, yes, it's I'm not believing one idea. I'm open to change all the time. But for me now, it's clear. It's not the problem between West, East. It's not the problem between Christian, Jewish, Muslims. It's about some people, Zionist ideology, mentality, controlling the world, controlling resources, controlling politics. And sooner or later, the problem in this planet will be a class problem. Yes, now it's in Palestine, which is clearly because that's the only example is still there as a very obvious colonization, occupation from West, from Zionist, is still in Palestine. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. The Palestinian case today is not about Palestine. It's about the whole world. It's about the whole humanity. It's about this planet. If Palestine will disappear, this planet sooner or later will disappear. Exactly. If Palestine problem fixed, managed, I promise you, it's the magic for the whole planet, whole communities to become a different place. Because I'm telling you, yes, I am Palestinian, I'm fight for Palestine, I'm happy and I want to see all the world stand up for Palestine, but there is still a lot of communities around the world having the same issues, even more and longer time of Palestine. And I think through Palestine, we also should fight for these communities and these places and these conflict areas. Kashmir, Yemen, Afghanistan, Africa, wherever you go, still there is places. But you know, sometimes we think, yes, because we are directly from a West colonization, Zionist occupation, that our case is more obvious on the media. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's definitely
No worries.
It's definitely the impact of the what role America plays in it as well, because everything they're involved in, they direct their eyes to it. So I think definitely what you're saying, the liberation of Palestine will liberate everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a global movement.
Yeah.
It's just not about Palestine. When I asked you when you went to prison, you said which time. How many times have you been to prison?
I get arrested in 2002, the big invasion, and in that time I almost got 4 years in prison as a 17 years old, and yeah, it was a big thing for me. Like you really meet all of this intellectual Palestinian political leaders. Wanted people, prisoners, where they really, like for me it was a university. Like I didn't went out to university in that time because it was the time to go to exams, but I went to prison. But for me it's like, yes, all my friends went to universities, study I don't know what. I went to prison for 4 years, and it really was for me a university in life, in politics, in seeing things, in thinking, in seeing the power in individual, the power of the way you think. And sometimes even you are wrong, but if you believe in what you do, if you believe in what you say, it's become something. And I thought it's not about good or right or whatever, it's about what you believe and how much you believe in what you're doing. And yeah, when I meet all these people, I cannot even say names because it's really big people, some of them already martyred in a big political parties. It's like you was little child, you hearing what they're talking about Palestine occupation, the resistance, how the movements, the liberation movements, all these stories, you don't understand. But when you grow a little bit up and then you start to see the things, how repeat itself and what they're saying, it's like, yes, I was happy to be university in the prison and not in a typical university studying some, I don't know what, and pay the university the money. And yes, that's what is, in a way, it shaped me somehow. I believe so. But also when I went out, I didn't give up to anything was dragging me. Because, when I went out, it was still Intifada. My friends came to me, is like, we want to resist, your gun is waiting for you. And for me, it was clearly, no, I don't want guns. Because in prison, I was coming from artistic summer camps, activity, and, in prison is all men, nothing happened. And we try to do life, we try to do activities. And for me, I start to make like artistic activities. Somebody want to go home, we make a party, I bring some buckets with, and we make songs. I start to make a small theater group inside the prison that we discuss which sketch we're gonna do tonight, which character. And that for sure another experience of which I included in my own monodrama. It's a story when somebody from Gaza filmed the sketch, and next day visit he gave the SIM card for his fiancée, and his fiancée went back to Gaza, and they wanted to bring it back to West Bank, but West Bank, Gaza is divided, we cannot, there is no any way to, so the only way was they should bring it inside the prison. And from the prison, we send it through families in the visit to the West Bank. But in that time, wasn't really like, Bluetooth or transfer, mail. So it was CDs, the big CDs. So they put the CDs in radio and put it inside, and they tried to smuggle it inside the prison. But it was obviously a bit big. So the soldiers, catch it, and then the soldiers brought it to the warden of the prison. And the warden of the prison put the CD. For him, in his mentality, like a CD in the prison, that must be something from, soldiers. And he put the CD, and he see people dancing, having party inside the prison. And he like, and the tent looks really nice. Because, it's an army tent from outside, but we bring, everything to make it look home. Colors, beds, everything looks nice. And the warden was like, what is this? Where is this? And the soldiers tell him, this is here. And he like, is this in my prison? Like he couldn't imagine. He thought there is a party, cameras, CDs, DVDs, like here? And they said yes. And, in the middle of the night, he got crazy. All the soldiers came, start to evacuate us out of the sections. You talk about 1,000 prisoners in one big section. So it was 2 to 4 sections in Nakab, in desert. So they took us all, and all these soldiers came, they start looking around, and then the mediator, he came and he said, they're looking for the guy who making the videos. And for me, it's like, oh, it's me. But it was for me like really a shock that what I should do, looks serious. I didn't imagine it's serious. And but luckily, I put some stuff in my face, some costume. So, and at that time, the phone's not really very clear. But for me, that was the question. It's like, what is all of this? Because a sketch. And directly I start to think about my friends who I lost in the invasion. I lost all of them resisting. And many other people, the destruction of the whole camp, the destruction of all Jenin. The whole case is like, wait guys, the point is not to die. The point is to stay alive as long as you can, and you resist and you tell your story. Actually, it's the easiest thing is to die. To kill yourself or to die or to whatever. But for me, no, it's not about the tool, and to die is about the mentality and the way to think when you want to resist. The word resist itself, it means the enemy or the side in front of you cannot have a control on you. The time he has a control, then you are not resisting. You're doing what they want you to do. But resistance, it's you do things that whatever the occupation cannot imagine. For example, when I start to learn about resistance, there is a very crazy examples, the beginning of the Israeli where they were announcing their state. For example, the Palestinians will come to their work at 9 o'clock. And the Israeli boss or the one who's responsible will ask you why you come 1 hour late. And he will tell him, no, I come at the Palestinian time, it's 8 o'clock. So that's resistance. Another example we had, I remember very well in the first Intifada, we were putting black flags on our tanks, water tanks. That means we are sad. And the Israeli, when they see that, means it's like, yeah, they banish us to shoot the water tanks. But still, it's a sign. They cannot go to each house, climb the tank to take the flag, for example, down. The other one, it's, we said the clock. Even for the clock, they start to stop people in the street and check your clock. If your time, it's in the Palestinian time or Israeli time. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Resistance, it's a creation. It's something to create. It's not just something to do and repeat. It's to make you think about new ways and new tactics. Another example, for example, if you saw the movie of Wanted 18, it's a very nice, beautiful movie. It talks about Beit Jala, because Beit Jala, the community, Beit Jala and Beit Lahem, they decide to be independent of the Israeli occupation products. This is resistance. So they bought 18 cows to bring it to Beit Jala, to grow them there, so they can have the milk. From milk, they make cheese, make whatever you want, and they will not buy any more Israeli products. So after time, the Israeli intelligence knew, and for me, the Israeli react not because they're gonna destroy them, because they know this is the example of if it grows, if this kind of culture will be spread around Palestinians, this is resistance and this is liberation, to be independent, even you have a control from occupation. So this 18 cows become wanted. The Israeli army start to follow, looking, searching for the cows. And the whole Beit Jala, it's become a whole country system. Try to sneak the cows from house to house, hide them there, hide them there. And all the drama of suddenly there is a cow, is pregnant, will give birth. And imagine all connection between families, people trying to help this cow with her new cows. And it's, wow, this is what I call it movement. This is what I call it resistance. People collaborate with each other, believe in the same values, same way of doing things. And for me, this is resistance. But now we have a bit also of challenge of, some people are military. They take down the value of, for example, resistance through art or resistance through theater, resistance through books, poetry. For me, many people in this world know Palestine through Mahmoud Darwish. Many people in this world know about Palestine through Edward Said, artists, Ghassan Kanafani, Najil Ali, where they have, the gun need a culture, need an art to save it, to explain, to show why we do that. Because we had a long time of propaganda where the West changed this picture to make it something different. So for me, we should first, as a Palestinian, support each other in any way we can resist and not value away on another. So yes, after that sketch, for me it was like, Oppa, I lost my friends. Yeah, they resist. I resist, but I didn't feel victory. I didn't smell victory. But inside the prison, when I see all of these 100 soldiers, angry, crazy, smashing things, blah, blah, I feel victory. I want to do this again. I want to feel this again. And for me it was clear. I want to be an actor, but fighting through theater and art. I want to feel victory again. They try to control our narrative. They try to close us. They try to delete our identity. And for me, no, I want to be on the stages, telling people the story again and again and again, and show them that Palestinian is still a human being, because, through this 100-year, they dehumanized us. The Israelis, the West, dehumanized Palestinians, dehumanized Middle East. And for me, it's the time to bring back the humanity to the Palestinians, to Muslims, to Arabs, and show them that we are even more qualified human being than you. Yes.
And this is when you joined the Freedom Theater then, after you were in prison,
Yes,
correct?
exactly. After
Yeah.
I went out of the prison, it was a big challenge. You know, like all my friends, what the situation, and you know, even the community will look at you like, come on, from a fighter to an actor is like, we are, you know, all the proudness, but how you can explain? It's difficult. You need to be a courage. You need to be a courage as a woman, as a man, in this kind of community and situation. If you are not believing enough in what you're doing, it's very difficult. And for me, yeah, it was so clear, because if you have any doubt, it's easy, anything take you down. Yeah. But for me, it was too clear, that's what I want to do, and that's what I want to go. And that's why maybe I'm still not married, no children. I have many children around the world as friends, as give workshops in Jenin, you know, always in the theater, there is a lot of kids around me. But yeah, these things also makes you go more strong. You do not think about, I have a good family who really support me. They understand me. I disappear sometime, month, 2 months, but they are really supportive. They try to do whatever to support my work, because they know how difficult things I go through. And you know, imagine sometime, not that's because it looks romantic sometime when people hear this, it's like, oh, nice, you do all of that. No, it's really very difficult. It costs you energy, time, mentality, money, because people like, they never think about, Tobasi, do you have money? Like how you live. You see what I mean? So that's also for me, the Palestinian artist. People all around the world, they support the Palestinian artist. They want them to talk. They want to bring them to events. They want them to come and talk about what is going on. But okay, the Palestinian artist is a human being. They need money. They need life. They need to be able to continue what they're doing. How they're going to continue what they're doing if they're going to just, talk about Palestine, make music or theater without any support? If you want to support the Palestinian case, yes, we got you. It's not only to carry a flag and go outside. It's not only to put a kofia in your leg or in your neck and you go out. You need to support in a way that it's really strategic. There is art, there is culture, there is education, there is health, there is all of these things that we need to balance and see how we can make it continue. In money, not even in money, you know what I mean. Always
but
money.
Push it forward.
Yes,
Get it
always
out there.
money is there. But yeah, you need to not take it as what it is. And that's for me, it's a very important, because we don't want to be just a trend for now.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with this world. It's very fast, very quick. Social media, again, which controlled by the Zionists in America. Everybody knows, I have nothing to hide or you hide. It's very clear who's controlling this world now with the money. Facebook, Meta, all this social media, it's with their hands. That's why people cannot see content of Palestine outside. That's why people went so emotional in the show, because they don't see this in a way all the time. They're like, oh, really? Yes. And for me, guys, you don't even see nothing. So why you expect Palestinians not be angry and go explode themselves everywhere? Why you expect us to be a human, modern, and sit in the table and talk about the massacres and the genocide is happening? We should, the most normal thing now, you see the whole world on fire, from Arabs and Muslims and Palestinians. But no, we tell you still, we are qualified human being more than you. We'll not react because just of feelings, and we have responsibility. We know we have been 75, 6, 7, 80 years under occupation, the most ugly, violent occupation in this history, but we still react in a way that we are responsible, and we fight for humanity, not for Palestinians. And that's very big responsibility. And for me, that's also another problem, when the victims of this planet become fighting each other, who's more victim. Like, you know, when Ukraine start, and for us, it's complicated. I know, that's the politics. Ukraine against Russia, Russia against America, America with Israel, Israel against Hamas, Hamas with Iran, Iran with Russia, Russia with Hamas, Hamas against Israel, Israel with Ukraine. So Ukrainian hate Palestinian now because we took the focus from them on the social media. And I say, no, as a Palestinian, I'm against the war in Ukraine. I'm against the artists being imprisoned in Russia. I'm against the artists or the women in Africa being killed because of asking for freedom. We should be together. We cannot fight Palestinians, Ukraine, who's more victim. We both getting bombed, killed like this. We should stand together, not go to Israel or to Russia to get support against each other. Yeah. So it's very tricky, and these people know how always to make things fall down. Yeah. And the only thing, always, same strategy, divide and rule. Yeah. That's the oppressor, that's the occupation, that's the, for me, white colonization mentality. Always come in, divide and rule. All the world. If you look at it, not even, forget Africa, forget Asia, forget other countries. We come to Europe, East Europe, West Europe. Where you want, we go to the West Europe. There is inside the countries, poor people, rich people. There is people able to do things, there is people not able to do things. In Norway, you find poor people and rich people. Yes, the system is nice for everyone, but there's still a lot of issues as a class. So now the problem, it's really dividing people who deserve to be alive or not, which is a very serious, I think, that we all need to come together. We all need to come together and finish. And for me, people, you know, always feeling not good when I say, yes, I'm courage enough to say I don't care about the name of the land. Yes, it's not easy because we all fight for Palestine, for the Palestinian flag, for the Palestinian kufiya. But for me, my dream is to take down all the flags from this planet, to take all these borders, to take all these names. Why you should have a Norwegian passport red, you can travel all over the world, and I cannot move inside my country? Who gave you the right to teach us how human should be? Who gave you the right as a Western to teach us how to deal with women? Who gave you the right to teach us how to deal with children? It's our tradition. It's our. I'm not saying it's wrong or right. I'm saying it's our decision. Who till you come to teach me how to elect my president? I never even elected my president because you elected for us.
Exactly.
So it is serious now. I think the major problem, what is going on, especially with the Western people, Gaza made them face their values, make them face their lies, and make them face that sooner or later it comes to you. In Europe, in US, it will come to you. And for us, we know time is time. Things take time. That's what we say in Norway. Think tar tid. Think tar tid, and it will come to you. No, for me, Ukraine is not far away. It's just here. And what is going on now in France with politics, with right, with left, with all of this. And again, US used Europe. For me, it's not used Europe. US raped Europe hard to the way now Europeans start to realize we are not in the same position anymore. And for me, all of that because of Gaza. Gaza and Palestinians stood enough, resist enough to show the world like that's what is going on. Yeah. And yes, we paid a big price. I am proud of everyone who, whatever they did to bring this world now to this point. And yes, I think we are in a very critical time in what is going on. Now we talk about Hezbollah, Iran, and for me, yes, I'm proud of the Norwegian people, at least to admit, like, yes, we should not forget Norway was a part of the Oslo Agreement, which is destroyed us until now, because what is going on now is because of Oslo Agreement. Not to put the Norwegian in a big responsibility, but everyone in this world should know this occupation you cannot make deals with. They cannot make agreements. They cannot committed to any official agreement or a word, or they are just liars. They are people who believe they can do whatever they want and no one can ask them stop or why. You see today, I mean, I swear to God, I think about the humanity more. Like, what happened to us that we can kill each other in this way? Really, I can't be a bad person. I can steal some money. I can steal food. If I felt, I don't know what, I want to have a bicycle. I don't have bicycle. It's like I steal bicycle. I understand. This is a human needs, let's say. But to kill thousands of people for what? Why? How bad we become as a human being? Equality. Look at the world. War everywhere. And I'm not talking about humanity because I believe there is a group of people behind the scene. They're planning all of this. And we all should stand up and stop them. You talk about Hiroshima was not social media and internet. We talk about massacres in Africa. It was, no cameras, no technology to document that massacres and genocides happened in Asia and Africa. But today, the genocide online. People see what is going on from 10 months. And if you look at Gaza, okay, show me the military guys you killed. You bombing schools. You bombing hospitals. This has never happened in history. And I don't know people, what they like, what should happen to make you feel this should stop now. Like, I'm just thinking sometime, even for myself, like, okay, what's make the war finish? Now almost we are 40,000, and I'm sure there is another 40,000 under the rubble, everywhere, disappear. I'm sure. But I mean, like 2 million people displaced. Some of them at least moved 11 times. There is families are not anymore on the documentation. I like, you bulldoze the street, electricity, water, oxygen, you control the air, you control the sky, you control us, you control the land. Like, what controlling what you need more makes you stop. And that's the serious question for everyone, like what we are living for what we're doing. And that's the problem if we become just a machines, and our dreams is to have a place to live as a human being. I think, no, we should raise our values. Everyone, every child, every individual in this earth should live in dignity, grow up in dignity, grow up in peace, have the right to learn, have the right to have access to health, whatever, medical, and that's a basic rights for every person in this planet, and not make it Europe, you can, I don't know what, and Africa not. No. It's enough. And I hope this war will, I believe what is after 7th October is not like before 7th of October. But I believe we really not becoming machines, and next trend will come, and then we move to next trend, and we forget what we are fighting for. And for me, it's very important to keep reminding people this will not stop. It's a long history war, will go us to future, between a human being and people who try to make more money and being in a different class.
I completely agree. What you're saying now is also what we're doing, or what you're doing through the Freedom Theatre, because you were talking about resistance earlier as well, and this is not, again, I've been thinking a lot about it. Like, one thing is that we have been talking about it for 10 months in Norway, which I think is really good. Like, the demonstrations go a bit down. There's not as many people there were in December, but people are talking about it. But also not making, sometimes you think, when is it gonna go back to normal? People get sick of it, and you're like, this has always been the normal in Palestine. Maybe not the extent of the genocide that's happening now, but this is the normal of Palestine. You just haven't been told about it. But I want to ask you also, how does the Freedom Theatre work? Because there are so many ways of resistance, that has been also in Palestine and around the world. And I believe that art is a true form of resistance. I think it's important, something that I hope to do as well. But how do you work in the Freedom Theatre? Tell us a little bit about the theatre.
Yeah, and I say again, when we talk about the theater, it really looks like a romantic, nice place where people can do their stuff and everything is okay. No, but if the Freedom Theatre, it's in the middle of Jenin camp. We really live and have the same experience what the camp have. Like each invasion, each attack, the Freedom Theatre has a part of this. Last times, they always enter the theater, destroy it, destroy the offices, they bomb it, they bulldozed it before. And the building of the theater as a venue, it's really old building. So there's a cracks in the ceiling where we see sooner or later will fall down. But yeah, many members was in prison. We talk about now the producer Mustafa Shita is also in prison. I was also the same time when they took me, Mustafa and Jamal Abu Jaws, an actor from the Freedom Theatre, and they took us to prison. The only thing make them is my Norwegian passport. When my friends start to call people here and the ministry called like, why you take this guy? And if nobody called, they have no problem to put me with these thousands of people. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when you not just talking about it, you live in it. You live that you could be arrested. You live your work that could put you in prison. Your work can make you shot. Your work, maybe they will enter the theater while you are in there, and they know who's working the theater or not. So yes, it is danger to work in theater, and art is not just only something nice. It's not something safe. The theater could kill you, and that's what happened with our first artistic director Giuliano Merchamis. He got killed in front of the theater. 8 bullets in his heart. You imagine? Yeah, so theater can kill you if you do it for a reason. So yes, it is even, as also a theater idea, still people think about it. It's not necessary to do theater in this situation. People believe like we have war, like why you want to do theater and bring artists, and that other challenge, which make it more difficult, because if you have your people support, you can go wherever you want. And for me, that's the idea. I try to make theater part of what is going on. We are part of the reality. So why you don't want me to react? Last time we had 12 martyrs. And we had an opening, and I decided I want to open the play today because we want to talk about it in this situation as we are part, and theater should be part of the daily life of what is going on. It wasn't easy. The board were fighting with me like, no, we should respect. I understand them. In the end, I said, okay. But no, my vision is to make theater culture is part of everyday life in Palestine. We talk, we do theater, but not do theater about I don't know what. We do theater about our life, resisting, talking, and in every way possible. The Israelis, they did documentaries from 20s about Palestine to show it as an empty land. They do theater, talk about a child in a settlement cannot sleep the night because maybe Hamas guy will send a rocket. I promise you, they used everything. They stole our kufiya. They put kufiya in their tradition, their
and the thobe also.
Yeah, they made a catwalk in Tel Aviv with our tradition. You see how ugly they are. Like they are not about occupying land or taking a mountain. No. They want to delete you. Even they will take you as them. You know what I mean? So hummus, you go to India, any restaurants, Israeli hummus, Israeli tabbouleh. Why? For sure, because all the soldiers who do the military service and they get fucked up, they have to go to India, smoke hash to forget, to relax what they did in Gaza and West Bank.
Hate to do so, actually.
Yeah, I mean, so they used everything to attack you. Culture, theater, attacks, movies, documentaries, films. So I think it's simple, our rights to fight in any way back possible. I want to use theater. Somebody want to use sewing, somebody want to make film. And that's what I believe, not make one thing better than the other. That's simply what the Israelis do. They attack us, occupy us in every way possible. But yeah, for me, it is a hard for the Palestinian artist, for the Palestinian intellectuals to talk about and include their work as a resistance, because for me there is some close small minds who think that things should be in one way, and that's make it difficult. But that's what I'm asking Palestinians, normal community, that please give young people, give artists their space to express and to send, to achieve the world about what we do. Yeah.
That's probably also why they get so angry when you do cultural stuff, or the cows, even the example with the cows, because you don't know how to, you know how to attack a Palestinian, but you don't know how to resist the resistance. You have to, when you attack them with creativity, they don't know how to react back at you.
Exactly.
They get surprised. How do we handle this?
I mean,
with the
imagine
tent
they
and the...
shoot you in the stage because you're doing theater. It's
Exactly.
like, what more example than this?
Exactly.
If you arrest, we did a project called The Revolution Promise. And it's about a Palestinian artist in West Bank who they have problems because of their own work, nothing more. One of them is Dareen Tatur, is a poem from 48. She wrote a small poem in the Facebook, 2 hours, they arrest her.
Yeah.
And for me, like even a Palestinian, I didn't know, not many Palestinians knows about the Palestinian artist struggle.
Yeah.
And even me, I'm like, what? Yes, she got arrested 3 months first, and then she went to the prison. They put her 2 years under house arrest, so she cannot leave because of a poet.
Exactly.
Other photographer get shot in his eye because he was filming what is going on. Ahmed Bakri is a very well-known artist in Palestine. He went to court for 15 years about film documentary Jenin. 15 years in court. And in the end, they have to pay almost 50,000 shekel for the soldier he was in the bulldozer that he didn't took his permission to put him in the movie. So, and many, Mohammed Abu Sakha, who is a Palestinian circus school in prison. Mohammed Sabani, a very famous Palestinian caricature, in prison because of his caricature. And many, many examples. And not many as a Palestinian know this. And this is another cultural resistance for me. Yeah. Because yes, cultural resistance outside against the occupation, and cultural resistance inside the community of Palestine, because we have some stupid people, we have some fucked up crazy people who do not still ready to be open and to accept differences. We are in Palestine different. There is different individuals, different people who in the different way of thinking. You cannot shoot me because I don't think like you. So for me, resistance, it should be all the way, because I believe occupation have many layers in our life. You talk about 75, 80 years now. For sure, they know how, like if you open Facebook, you see how they want you to think. You see what they want you to see. And still people not really aware of this kind of social medias can control our thoughts where to go. And you tell people around you, your community, we should help each other.
Yep.
We have a very strong occupation, not easy one. We have to support, we have to come together. Accept me as a different than you, and then we talk about these differences between us. But we have one mission, freedom, liberation. And you know, like some people tell me when you go around, oh, but you want Hamas to control. I like, it's not your problem. It's not your problem, Hamas control me or not, or Jihad Islami or Fatah. This is Palestinians. When we are free, we sit, and this is my mission to continue fight for my freedom.
Exactly.
But it's not your problem. Did I come to your country and ask you which party will control you?
Yeah.
No. We never went to any place, tell them what is wrong, what is right.
Exactly.
But that's what we want. We want people to respect what we're asking for.
Yeah.
They respect what we are thinking for. We are different. We are, again, you know, we are divided enough through all this time to come together. And for me, this is the point. We want to come together. And then, yeah, Gaza brought us together. We lost a lot, but Gaza brought us together. But still, always after revolution, it's very easy to go down. It's very easy to be led to other direction. And that's what I noticed from the second Intifada. It's 20 something years. And I saw how proud we were in the Intifada. But after the invasions finished, you see the propagandas, how easy the fingers can enter, put some money there, and drag all the tension to something side than where we were going. So not because we are bad, no, because there's agendas in the floor. There is occupation, there's agendas, there is West. They know how to take success down and make it nothing. And that's what the Israeli does now, to show us like resistance will bring you destruction. Resistance will bring you back 20 years. And for me, there is no difference from now, what I see scenes from Jenin camp, now when the invasion, is the same scenes from 2002. And I promise you, before even we come here, when they attacked, I was just in the road of the theater standing in front of my house, and just, you know, the vehicles, vroom, vroom, it was special forces attacking somebody. And like, this was 20 years. And just one button, they brought us back 20 years back, and the same thing. And that's what they want to say. Don't think you can live normal under occupation. You as a Palestinian, that's your life. And you have one choice, to leave. You don't leave, that's the way you're gonna live. You, your generation, your children, and we can bring you back whenever we want. And that's what they want to say. But yeah, I think we as a Palestinian, we don't have much choices. We have only one choice, to go forward, to resist. And yes, it's now we feel proud. We are trend in the in the world, and this really makes you really like, for me, because I told you when I came to Europe for first time, I thought like everybody knows Palestine. Now they're gonna ask me about Palestine because we are the only country having a war. No, people busy with their boyfriend, girlfriend, about the team, football. They lost 2-0. What is the payment for the apartment, the internet? I'm like, what? All what is happening and nobody knows. And even you tell people, they ask you, where are you from? You tell them, I'm from Palestine. And they're like, Pakistan. I'm like, what? I really like to say it because I thought it's a joke. But it's not a joke. It happens until today. So it was a big shock for me that people really don't know, they don't want even to know. Like there's a conflict there, we are bored of it, I don't know what. But now today, they like it or not, everyone look at you and ashamed. They cannot say anything. Kufiya everywhere, Palestinian flag everywhere. You go anywhere and you find a balcony with a Palestinian flag.
That's part of the strategy as well, right? Divide and conquer, to keep people distracted from tapping into their humanity.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I want to ask Vibeke also, you started working with the Freedom Theatre in 2009, right?
First time I visited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that begin, and how has it evolved throughout the years?
From the first visit, it was more me traveling and touring throughout Palestine to really educate myself on what was happening. Because when you come from Norway, as I do, I grew up in a very different setting than Ahmed. I'm from the white majority society in Norway, and very protected in many sense. So coming to Palestine, it was a shock. Even though I grew up in a family who was very political, I had the kafia over me while I was a baby, you know, so my parents raised me well politically. But you don't know until you are there and see and feel and smell and, you know. So the first time I was there in Palestine was in 2008 with the Palestinian Committee Solidarity trip. And what I saw during those 2 weeks was shocking to me. It was not too long ago since the second Intifada. And things have changed so much for the past 16 years or so. But so when I went back there, I had to go back basically, because between the first visit and the second visit, when I also visited the Freedom Theatre, you had the Christmas war, or the attack on Gaza during 2008 and 2009. And became personal to me, right? Because I had already gotten people I knew in Palestine. I had to go back. So I went back in February and stayed for 3 months.
In 2009?
Yeah. February, March, and April. So all over West Bank, getting to know a lot of people, learning a lot, crying a lot, being comforted a lot by Palestinians, which is always, I'm not used to it, or I wasn't used to it, which I should be ashamed really too. As Ahmed mentioned also, the one who's comforting everybody is the Palestinians. Where do I get my strength from? It's from Palestine. It's from my Palestinian friends. And that has continued since then. But visiting the Freedom Theatre was powerful because, again, for me, art is the safe space where we can be humans, where we don't have these labels, where we don't have these characteristics or whatever. You're just a human being, and we are all in it together, and we can create something. It's creating something. War just destroys everything, or the political scene. I don't believe in politicians anymore, because it's lies and it's games and it's agendas and positioning in front of each other, and everybody wants something. In art, we are humans. We are creating something. We are having fun. We are building up. We are, or dealing with stuff like the performance now in the park. That's the way to deal and handle.
Yeah. I just want to say quickly, for those who don't know about the play, it's a Freedom Theatre and Nordic Black who have collaborated, and they had 2 shows on Sunday at Båtspark Grønland at 1 and 5, which was really, we watched it, and it was a really strong performance.
The project actually, the reasons why, one of the reasons why the Freedom Theatre is here now is with Kalsøy Festival and also Crotonics and Propellant Theater in Trondheim. So we have a collaboration, a long list of collaborating partners. So the performance was also shown in Trondheim, and it started working with it in Kalsøy. So the whole tour, but it culminated in the 2 performances on Sunday here in Oslo. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So but for my relationship with the Freedom Theatre, first time I visited there was in 2009. Came back again in 2010. Then I did a workshop with some drawings with some kids, together with a British friend of mine actually, who was working with an NGO, which I don't remember the name of now. This is so long time ago. But anyway, a short one. But then I've been working with a lot of other artists in Palestine, so I'm not solely faithful to the Freedom Theatre, although I love them deeply.
Yeah, but it's a good point, because we really, as a Freedom Theatre, we believe in idea more than, as you say, like resistance. It's an idea. It's not me or her or she. And that's the idea of the Freedom Theatre, where you we have friends all over the world who care about us, who support us, and they are the Freedom Theatre. So we don't have a card to give to people, you are a Freedom Theatre or not. We believe in the idea, and for me, as
the community,
Vibeke, it's one of the friends who believe in us. So.
Very much so. And last year in 2023, we had finally a proper collaboration here in Oslo, where we had the performance that Ahmed mentioned, Revolution's Promise. Ahmed was here playing himself in that performance, and we also had Rania Elias, who is a woman. A cultural worker living in East Jerusalem, and had also invited Ali Abi Yassin, artist from Gaza. But he was not granted a visa to Norway at that time, which pissed us off so much that we invited him to come this year. Unfortunately, again, he was not allowed to come. He's still stuck in Gaza. But the Freedom Theatre, I visited there in June now, last time, together with Kire Hellum and Khalid Mahmoud. We have collected some equipment for the theatre in Jenin. And it was donated by the Norwegian Theatre and the Norwegian Opera and Ballet House. It was picked up from the theatres here in Oslo, put into a big container in April. And we thought, yes, now it's sailing towards Jenin, and we're going there in June. And offloading, and
Because you sent it in April,
it's still
right?
stuck in Oslo.
It's still stuck in Oslo.
We are still waiting for a green light from the expeditor.
Oh my God.
It's a nightmare. But anyway, I want to say about coming to Jenin, because I saw the theater first time in 2009, and I saw the vibrancy. That was a time when Julian Omer Kamis, who was killed in 2011, he was still alive. It was a vibe, and the other founder, Zakaria Zubeidi, who was also arrested the same year, a bit later, he's in prison. So this is the two founders of this theater. One was killed, the other one is lifetime in prison. And the daily manager, Mustafa Shetta, the producer, was arrested and is still, after now, since 13th of December, he's still in administrative detention without any accusations against him, without any trial, without any ability or been allowed to defend himself. And he's one of many. I think it's now 11. How many administrative detentions? I think it was the last number, so it was 7,000 Palestinians in prison without any accusations against them, without a trial, without anything. And it can be indefinitely. Mustafa was given 6 months initially, and then a new one for 4 months. And they can do this without anything. So there is a call for his immediate release. We did a call earlier when someone else from the Freedom Theatre was arrested. We handed this call. All of the Norwegian performing arts field signed this petition for freeing Palestinian artists in prison in administrative detention. We handed that petition over to the Minister, the Culture Department, and the Foreign Department. They promised they will look at it and promised to bring it up with their Israeli colleagues.
Is it like when America says Israel are going to investigate themselves?
Yeah, for sure they will investigate.
No, but not after they kicked the
Norwegian
representative from Israel. It's like,
So,
we don't like Norwegian anymore.
And you noticed that actually.
All the money, all the oil, all the guns from Norway.
This was
even though you are not good enough.
It's very, you can feel the aggression. But now, the theater now, to come there now, I broke down actually. I mean, it was different coming back. It was a year ago since I was in Palestine last time. And in June, coming back, new system. The buses doesn't run into the West Bank. You have to walk through the checkpoint from Jerusalem to Ramallah. More armed checkpoints. Things doesn't work the way it did a year ago. So the landscape, the fabric of the society is changing. So we took the bus. We're going, me, Kira, and Khalid were going to Jenin to visit. Sadly, he was away on tour, or good, he was away on tour, showing his performance. And here I am, which is an excellent play. So we were going to Jenin to visit, and I got a message from the current interim general manager early in the morning. So Stanish Way, don't leave Ramallah just yet, because we have some news that there might be an invasion. Special ops are on the way, so wait a little bit before you take the bus. And we waited. 3 hours later, 5 people were shot, 6 people arrested, and they had driven around with a wounded man on the jeep, which I know this reached news here, right?
Yeah.
So that was that day we went to Jenin. So when I got message that they had left, we took the bus, came to Jenin in the afternoon. And for me, I love Jenin. I love Palestine. It's like coming home to me. Even though it's, it's home. So coming there, going towards the camp, I was looking for the arch, which around any refugee camp, you have this arch or this gate. And I couldn't find it. It was, where is it? So am I taking these guys? And I felt almost embarrassed because Khalid and Kira was, first time. I'm the one who knows my way around. And then I couldn't recognize myself. I was, what? And there's no the asphalt is gone. And it was...
Different place.
Completely devastating. Coming into just inside the camp, the theater is not too far from the entrance to the camp. And then seeing there, it's dust everywhere. It's the buildings are torn down. And the windows on the theater are broken. The doors are broken. It's just, what? is happening. And of course there's drone bombing, there's craters after drones, and like Ahmed explained, which he himself has been present, where they drive past with these huge trucks who messes up the streets, who tears down the walls, you know. So my deep concern, or it's not even a concern, because when they have finished in Gaza, as they say, they will start in the West Bank. Well, they have already started. Now there's been drone bombings in Tulkarem and Jenin this night. I mean, there's 9 people killed. All over the West Bank there's an invasion. And not to mention on the way to Jenin, all the settlements and the outposts. The first time I took the bus, the settlements was over there. And I remember once in 2018 when I took the bus, the settlements that were here. And we were driving, I was in a service with only Palestinians, and we were driving through this corridor of Israeli flags. And we were listening to the radio, Arabic music, and then Israeli radio kind of took over the channel. And the driver was frenetically kind of looking for the Arabic station, couldn't find it. So we drove through, it turned it off. So we drove through this corridor of Israeli flags in complete silence, and that feeling inside that car with 10 Palestinians and me. It was just the saddest thing. And now even more fresh colonies all over north of Palestine, which is the fertile land, which is where you produce food. We see, you know, on the opposite, I went to Hebron, where it's more dry land. You have different issues there. You have in every region of West Bank, and in East Jerusalem, and in 48, and in Gaza, and in the camps outside. You know, the fragmentation of the identity, as Ahmed spoke about. It's a very powerful divide and conquer. But now finally, because we had kind of the same sense in 21, with the so-called knife intifada, where people got together and accepted and trusted each other. It's a trust issue, right?
But you know, as what you talked about, because this is not from 7th October, which is it's really something we need to talk about. And I was telling people, like, this is happening every day. And I remember I was in France, in Paris, and we had a big meeting, conference with activists, people who are interested in the case. And they asked me, like, what do you think should happen? I said, no, but every day there is 10 people, 11 people. Destruction is the same all the time. I think that something should happen. Like, maybe the Israelis need to get a bit violent. Maybe they need to do a massacre, so people start to really realize there's something that to stop. But I couldn't imagine, for sure, like, these people, they could be out of your expectation. They always manage to surprise you. They manage to show you something far away than you think. And that's the solution. Like, when they did 7th of October, that's the only way all the world have to look to Palestine and say, okay, come on, enough, we need to find solution. But still.
And every night I did a count during 1 week, during nightly raids in the West Bank. And this was not now, this was a year ago, I did this count. How many people were arrested during night raids? It was 239. And that was before 7th of October. So you're talking about it started the war 7th of October. No, it didn't. As we know, it began in 48, first of all. And it has been a slow way all the way, more or less slow. Sometimes it blows up. But the thing with Israel, I mean, they murdered the first UN diplomat, Volker Bernadotte. They shot and killed him on the streets in Jerusalem when he was handing over the report. And this man was Volker Bernadotte, the count who saved masses of lives from Auschwitz camps. He was the man behind the white buses. Zionist government was not agreeing with, or the Zionist leaders were not agreeing with his righteous plan, or the plan of division where Palestinians actually get their land. They didn't accept it, so they killed him. Nothing, no trial, nothing. So any of these there's been masses of UN resolutions since day one. I mean, there's a museum in Ramallah walking you through all these resolutions. You know, it's in Arafat Museum. You can go through all this spiral of all these resolutions. Not one of them do they care about. So there's...
But that's what we see continuously, that whenever someone comes with a solution, they kill it off.
For sure.
They kill everyone that's trying to do something. Even after, even though the Oslo Accords were not good, they still killed. Yitzhak Rabin. It was Rabin, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They killed him.
Yeah. And
his own people killed him because they were trying to find a solution.
But that's how you have to improve how you are an Israeli. To be honest, as our work, there is some Israelis who think they are against occupation or they are left side, whatever. And sometimes they try to get in contact, but we tell them it's not easy. Guys, don't think it's like tomorrow you are a good Israeli and then we have to collaborate and normalize. Sorry, do your work alone, I do my work alone, but we cannot come together. Sorry. But they are, feeling... I met a very famous dancer choreographer in Portugal. He have a big dance company and he made a project about how the Israeli kids growing up in a violent situation, which is not good for the community. He's not talking about Palestine. He's not talking about anything. He talk about the Israeli children growing up not in a healthy situation, which is not good for the Israeli community. And he talk about part of the show, talk about the children settlers in Hebron, in Jericho, in the West Bank. And you see like a children 12 years old, 11 years old, drunk or underdog, or they having guns, shooting at the Palestinian, kicking their houses. And he bring this kind of thing that shows that these children, when they grow, they will be violent in our community. So they cut everything about him. They attacked him. They told him, you're not supporting us. You are against Israel. He's been attacked in any different way you can think. And then he had to leave to France. He cannot exist anymore there. And I watch many examples like that.
Yeah.
Any Israeli would say, stop, let's think this is occupation. We need to live. You are not Israeli anymore. So for sure, there is no place for any individual Israeli to be not 100% violent, crazy, kill Palestinians. So now your Israeli ID can go up and down of mentioning what you did against Palestinians. If you killed 3, 4, 10 people, you are a hero. If not, then you are a normal whatever. So yes, you cannot even, there is no freedom in this kind of state. There is no rights for people in this kind of state. And before 7th of October, you saw what Netanyahu was planning to do. It's to take control all dictatorship. And they promote themselves as the Western values only democracy country in the Middle East, which is in their dreams. But yeah, I think that's another problem now with the Israeli, what is happening, what is going on, is they also they're facing reality of they who are. Now you talk about hundreds of soldiers having mental issues when they go back after trauma, whatever they call it. The people, they cannot face there is people dying in Gaza. They cannot admit it. The moment they admit it, they will have issues. And what I'm telling you, if you go to Tel Aviv before 7th of October, you go to Tel Aviv, you find activist people. Activist rights for human rights, for women, for dogs, for trees, for oxygen, for gay people, for environment, for global warming. And when you ask them, what about the people behind the wall that you siege and they are really not living in a good way? They cannot see it. They cannot discuss with you. Because the moment they will see us as a human being, they will have issues. And that's the problem. You promote yourself as a first style modern country, and then you are really not a country at all. Machines. There is very religious, crazy people. Now we talk about Ibn Gafir. He's planning to build these things for Jewish religion thing in Al-Aqsa Mosque. Is like, what's more provocative? Where you want to go? And for me, actually, they making their fall faster. from Corona time. Corona, all this is happening. Russia, US, Chinese. All these cases connecting on each other in somehow. And I believe that Europe and US is not, they don't enter war because they don't want war, because they realize that everything is changing and they are not in the same positions like before. And I promise you, if they had the chance, they will delete Iran, they will delete Russia, they will delete China. But they now know we cannot do anything because it's very tricky and we could lose control. That's why they're still not joining the war. But yeah, I think inshallah they're making the end faster.
Yeah. It's self-destructing.
Yeah.
It is.
I want to talk a little bit more about. It is interesting. We've invited you here to talk about art
we
and
need 3
resistance.
days now to finish them.
But
I'm sorry about
no, it's really interesting because we want to talk about art and we want to talk about the resistance, but you see how much they intertwine together.
But it's very important.
yeah.
Many people try to ask me like how we can make art political or what
no
is
change.
political art or what is like. Guys, come on! You cannot be unpolitical.
Yeah.
And the time you start to say I am not political, you are political because you are dividing to not address some issues, which is politically you meant to do that, which means that you are also in another side. That means you are a political. So for me, never, never, never. Art, video, theater, songs, music, it born a political.
Yeah.
And you cannot, for also what's happening now, reacting or responding, we were discussing this earlier, what art and activism. And I mean, as a human being, who are you if you don't react when there's an ongoing genocide and more of an ongoing occupation? I mean, who are you then? Who are we as individuals? Who are we as a collective society? Who are we? Yeah. It's not for me about activism or about art or about any of these labels. It's about trying to survive as human beings and saving our soul. But of course for me also as using art as a tool, that's what we do because that's where we are. I mean, and also like back to the performance we mentioned, the students had here on Sunday. It's a way to deal with it yourself as an artist, but it's also a way for the audience to deal with it and be able to receive it. Because the pictures and images coming from Gaza, for instance, even though if you see them, I mean, the algorithms, yes, it closes off and many people don't see, and you can run away. But if you watch these videos coming from Gaza with these headless babies, with, how to deal with that, it's too much. I have found myself become numb. I have no tears left. There's what to feel. I don't know what to feel. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to. When my friends in Gaza, Ali Abi Yassin, who is a performing artist, what to say to him? I'm ashamed. I say, hang in there. What am I supposed to say? And I'm ashamed that we haven't stopped it, and I'm ashamed can't do more. I'm ashamed that I can't stop it. I feel personally responsible to stop this. So art is the one place where we can breathe together and do something that makes sense, because the world does not make sense any longer.
Yeah. But also in the attacks of the Freedom Theater, I got some emails, calls, messages. Artists, companies in the world, like, what we can do, how we can help you is like, there is difference between you want really to do something, you believe in it, or you just want to take something from your shoulder. And I think people mix in it sometimes. They don't know what the difference, because some people really feel they need to do something, make them feel good about themselves, which is, we understand it doesn't help a lot. But there is many people who really want to do something. And for me, it reminds me, is like, I was once in Hebron, in the old town where it's occupied, soldiers, many settlers who studied there, very religious.
Together.
And one time I went with 2 Norwegian people, and that time I had my passport with me. So I said, okay, I will try to enter this area, which is not allowed anyone to enter.
For Palestinians.
And I was really shaking. I entered with them and showed them the area. And it was the first time in my life I entered this area. I was many times come with many groups, people show them, they go in, I wait them outside, because it's really schools for the religious people, soldiers. And suddenly I'm there. And then a soldier come to, hey, how are you? Where are you from? Is UK, Norway? Oh, nice, guys, how are you? Don't worry, this is for the bad guys. Don't worry, it's not about you. But we are trying to save our children, blah, blah, blah. And I look how he talked to me. Like, if he just asked me, give me your ID, I will be, you know. And like, I'm shocked how he's lying. And he believes his lie. He tells people, these guns, these things to save from bad people, but you are safe, you can go around. And I continue like seeing, wow. And a small settler boy, he want to get a cola from the machine, but he's too short to put the thing, and he asked for help. And I didn't know why. I went to him, I helped him, he bought the shekel cola, and I didn't thought about it at all. And he gone, thank you, and really fun, nice, two boys, they gone. And for me, I started to think like, why I helped him? And I started to challenge myself like, what happened to me? But for me, no, that means I'm still a human. I'm still normal. I didn't deal with kid as my enemy. Or when he grow up, he could be a soldier. I don't know. But that's at least for myself, I'm still function as a human. The good side is still with me, which was a good sign for me. And that's for me that always saying to people, yeah, we should make a difference between civil people, army, leaders, all of that, because we cannot include everyone all the time in the same circle to create more enemies. But you know, for me, people to go more direct to the point, we have a Jewish friends all over the world. Who they are really our supporters. They are really believe in what we're asking for. And as I said, and Giuliano said, the third intifada should be a cultural, artistic intifada. I believe the fourth intifada will be a Jewish intifada. The Jewish people need to stand up, stand up for their heritage being used and installed to be used in this way. Now we see some examples from young Jewish people around the world.
And some artists.
They have being used as a religion, as a heritage, to promote this ugly occupation. And I say, yes, we need more Jewish people to stand up for their rights, for their heritage. And I believe Jewish people are a human being like us. They are against what is going on, but we need their voices more and more. Because when you are Arab and the Palestinian and you say this against Israel, for sure they will tell you, yes, they are Arab and Muslims. But when a Jewish man or a woman stand up, you accuse them of what?
But also this is the result of Israel, because Israel is not labeling their inhabitants as Israeli. They're calling them Jews. And Arabs. It's the labeling that Israel definitely cynically using. But you have Jewish Voices for Peace in USA who's growing, and you have also in Norway Norwegian Jews for Peace. And in Germany, it was just recently in Germany, back to what's happening in Europe. Pro-Palestinian activists are being beat up, and it's now illegal to say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I was outside the courtroom when there was a trial, and there's thousands of trials in Berlin against activists. And who are the activists? Many Germans, some from the Palestinian diaspora, who are now in effect banned from grieving, because many have families in Gaza, and the ongoing genocide affects them in the way that their grief of their losses is not only not allowed, it's criminalized. So there's not space for more than one genocide then. Is there not? Is it a competition? Can we be a human collective, borderless, without all these flags and all this, as human beings? That's my concern, and what's been striking to me coming to Palestine also. In the beginning, I felt that I'm more outraged and angry and emotional and than all Palestinians I know together. Why? Because they used it, first of all. They know how stupid it is to snap at the border. And I've been thinking so many times I would be a suicide bomber if I had to become a, if I had to go through this every day. How it impresses me the way Palestinians deal with it.
But again,
that's saving, but maintaining that humanity. I mean, yes, you have no choice, blah blah blah. But still, I do respect that, and I think we should acknowledge what Palestinians and all the different situations Palestinians live belonging to Palestinian diaspora issues. It's all different issues connecting to that identity in grief, in anger, in despair, and also happiness and joy and culture. I mean, for instance, what Ahmed talking about earlier, what he wanted theatre to be part of the grieving, to be part of the culture, to be part of society. That's also my wish, and I feel that Norway is the same. We are making culture or art into something that we go to the museum to watch, or it's something to entertain us with. For me, art is a part of who I am, who we are as human beings. And it has, throughout art history, always been a part of the way we live. So, yeah.
No, I just want to ask, because one of the things you work with, you've been working a lot with the Freedom Theatre, but you also have motforestillinger in Norway. And a lot of your work revolves around the Israeli colonialism and occupation of Palestine. Can you just
I would say all my work, actually.
all your work, yeah.
To be honest.
But what are some of the ways we've worked together before, so I know a lot of your great work, but I want you to, how do you work?
Very emotionally. Yeah. No, it's out of need, I would say. I just try, again, I'm very simple. I'm not complex. I just try to survive as a human being.
But what are some of the ways that you work with content from Palestine or Palestinians? Because you translate a lot of poems.
Yeah, translated. We can start from October then. It's been a haze ever since October. So since then, I've been translating. The first thing I did then was having a reading of Gaza monologues, because the first week I didn't how to deal with this, and I called Iman Aoun because I remembered the Gaza monologues, which already was translated to Norwegian.
What are the Gaza monologues?
The Gaza monologues are testimonies from children from the attack on Gaza in 2008-9. And it was written in 2010, where Ali Abi Yassin was one of the directors and assisting the writings of these monologues. So it's 33 monologues from kids, youngsters, about their experiences during the war in 2008-9 in the Christmas time. And this play has been translated to many languages already. So in Norway, it was performed in Trondheim and also in Tromsø in 2010. And I remembered it. I was not part of that performance back then, but I know of it, and so I just went there, brought that to stage and had a reading. And it was actually amazing for me, because in the beginning, I've been coming back from Palestine so many times and people have not really cared. They're not interested. I've been shot at. I've seen people bleed to death in front of me, and my life has been shattered. And I come back here, nobody cares. We are more concerned about. I remember I went to a theatre festival in Stockholm. This was in 2010, and that was just when Berlin and the attack in Berlin had happened. And I came to the festival, and they were introducing me for the director of the festival, directly from the West Bank, kind of sexing it up a bit. I've been shot at and I see someone die. So this is not the West Bank. It's an occupation going on, and it's actually real. Oh, so political correct. I wasn't able to go out of my hotel room during the whole stay because I felt that art did not concern me. What was going on? It was just for show. It was performances for each other, and it was performing arts, and it was very important, performing arts and blah blah. I don't give a shit about that. It doesn't concern me as a human being or as an artist. So back to what I do, reading of the Gaza monologues, and now this time when I called the actors, it was so easy to have someone come reading. It was amazing, and this was 3-4 weeks after the war had gone on in October for three weeks, and the numbers of the killed were just skyrocketing, and everybody wanted to participate, which felt amazing. People are objecting to this. Finally, it costs too many lives. We knew this like 76 years ago, but at least this is a good change. And the same with what we worked together on was the vigil for Gaza, where we had the reading all the names during October, which was a way of grieving, a way of, again, handling, being in the same room together, which for me, theater room is. That space is a safe space for people.
It was a 24-hour wake that we had in
Vegas.
Yeah, in Vegas in early December, where we read 6,740 names or something of all the from the Gaza Health Ministry, because I think there were 14,000 dead killed at that time, but they hadn't recorded them as well. But it was a really strong...
And more than 100 people participated in that reading. So we had time slots for 2 hours each with different teams, 24 hours apart from the night. And it was live streamed, and it was a ritual we read all this name, insisting on the fact that they had value, and it's the person we have lost, this world has lost. Because I totally agree with what Ahmed says. It's not only about Palestine, it's about who are we as humanity when we can live in genocidal times and not only we are allowing it to happen. Not only that, we are arming Israel. So that was one part. And then again, a reading of... translating texts from Gaza. I'm translating now the book of Ahmed Tobasi, the former culture minister who is a friend of mine. I care deeply about him.
Yes.
He was in Gaza. He was a culture minister for the PA in October and lived normally in Ramallah. I translated his diary from the war in 2014 as well. And I sent him a message in the 8th of October saying, I'm thinking of you and your family. I'm in Gaza. And I was, what the fuck? Why? And him and his eldest son were there. They were supposed to be there for 3 days. But obviously it was longer. His son wanted to come with. He's 16 or 15. He turned 16 in Gaza now, before Christmas. He wanted to come with to visit his grandparents, because when you move from Gaza to West Bank, obviously you can't enter Gaza easily. It's not like you swap by. You have never succeeded in getting there, for instance. Neither have I. I've tried. We haven't been allowed. So the fact that he's a culture minister, that's the privilege of the job. So he brought his child there, and he stayed there for 85 days. Now I'm on day 84. It's 85 days in hell, and I met him in Ramallah now when I was in Palestine, and he told me that his son Yasser, he can't eat red meat anymore. There's a lot of picking of body parts and a lot of... It's excellent writing. It's brutal to relive it as I do when I translate it. But it gives me meaning, kind of to share the stories. And I had a reading where I combined his texts, because I'm also still in contact with Ali Abi Yassin, as almost daily, basically. And he has written a lot of texts, and I've translated a lot of them, and have had made a performance where I combined Atef and Ali's voice, because they are very different. Atef is very... as a culture minister, he has access to a lot of things that Ali doesn't, who is internally displaced in Deir el-Balah. And more on the normal floor, where Atef has a different position, and he can talk about the political things, the things goes on with the things, with the aid into, for instance, and how the toilet functions, and all these regulations and all these specific things that are very interesting to see how the war actually messes up with every single little detail, right, in your life. And then Ali's voice, which is more artistic, which is more emotional, they together work well. So I call this performance Ghost, and I performed it with some actors who had a reading though. There's no budget in what I do. so but reading, and people want to participate, which is a gift and a joy, which another and very important aspect, speaking about surviving this, the sense of community since October. For I have felt so alone in Norway, and of course mainly my own fault because I haven't searched for friends maybe, but now I know, we know each other now. We have seen that we are many, we are not alone, and strengthening each other. And this community feeling has been amazing to feel here in Norway. We are many, and we do not give up. Of course, we will lose some now, I guess, who will fall out, but some will continue. The hardcore will continue.
For sure.
And I'm not sure if I think I answered.
You did, absolutely. And I think also that's what, I think a lot of people have been feeling alone. And then we suddenly, unfortunately, and fortunately, we found each other through what's happened. It's unfortunate that that had to happen for us to find each other. But at the same time, I don't think we would necessarily survive this without finding each other as well. So
also in terms of art, relational art, you mentioned motforestillinger. For me, that's been a curating platform where I brought a lot of Palestinian artists to Norway. It's been a facilitating coming together. We haven't had much audience, maybe like 20, 50 audience members, but the audience haven't been the point behind these festivals we had in the beginning. It's about, one, challenging majority Norwegian artists to, for instance, to reading. Like a white Norwegian privileged person, I can read and empathize and understand and learn and educate. So the educational aspect of it is important to me also.
Yeah, but also you did it. If I remember the December in Vegas, it was a very famous actresses and actors who
and parliamentaries. I mean, there was 100 people who participated in reading. Also people, politicians from the parliament was part of it. So this is a way of making an imprint in each and one person, because I don't think for me, what's important for me in my work is to make things personal. It affects me. What happens to you affects me. Yes. Not only because I know you, but it affects me. What happens to you too affects me. We are in this together. And for me, the ritual, the vigil is a very good example of or a manifestation of that. We are in it together. It is a circular movement.
A circular.
Thank you. Beautiful British. It is.
British mandate.
And building communities. The British mandate. That's where they have their colonial heritage.
One by one.
No, but all these regulations and rules are directly inherited from the British mandate in Israel. They're just building upon it.
Yeah, but that's for me what is good about activism and about to work and to fight for others, because it's not really about them, it's about you. You building yourself, you become something else. You become something more than yourself. You are fighting for others. Now you part of other circles for other people, and that makes you really a stronger person, makes you a stronger individual. You are not caring just only for yourself, which is very small. You care for the Mapuche people in Chile, the people in Amazon who are still fighting the machine and the technology.
Climate.
The people in Kashmir, in Bangladesh. For me, I become more strong. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid of the simple things that normally human being afraid. I'm not afraid from tomorrow. I'm not afraid if I don't have money. I'm not afraid if I don't have a house. I'm not afraid if I have children or I have to marry tradition or not. I am beyond this. I am for others, and that's really create a big movement, and that's what we want. I think the success for me, if we come to create a big movement in this world where we fight for each other, so no one can control anymore. We can boycott this, we can do that, we can decide that, and that's inshallah the dream.
And that is to understand, as Ahmed said, that someone contacts the theater to want to help because it makes them feel good. have never worked with any Palestinian because I want to, it's like no, exactly, help. It's because it helps me.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. And it's interesting art scene. Yeah. It's interesting artists, very inspiring artists sitting right here. Yeah. I mean, it's not about helping those.
It's not ego-driven.
There are no them on this planet. Yeah. There's only us. And society also, it has no will on its own. Society is actually daring to be, that's the thing for me. I want to dare to be naive enough to say that the society is exactly what we choose to make it. Because it doesn't have a will on its own. It's this result of our daily actions. Do different things, different society. It is very simple. And I insist on that. Fuck big top politics.
Agreed. You should give the politicians some acting lessons as well, because you see that
that's the problem. They cannot act actually.
Exactly. You see that they're lying. It's not from their heart. But just want to round up before we have the last question, because we talk a lot about humanity, about different tools you use in your work with young people. How does this affect the young people, the young Palestinians in the Freedom Theater? Do you see they're growing as persons, as human beings as well, because they're going that way?
Yes, I think it's a big challenge, and we believe the core of the work of the Freedom Theater is children and youth, and that for us is the main point of work. Is if you create a healthy individuals, you create a healthy community, then you create a healthy country to fight, to stand up, whatever. And you talk about Jenin camp, where you are now almost 20,000 people living there. There is nothing like playgrounds. Children grow up living in a very violent atmosphere, reality. For example, if you ask the children in Palestine, they are ready to die. They are ready to be martyred. They are not afraid to stand in front of a tank. They are not afraid to fight a sniper, and they like bet where you wanted, here, and they bet with the soldier. You cannot achieve it. In the leg, And for me, this is really because I travel, I come back, I saw, and for me, like, it's not this is not okay. This is not normal. When somebody comes out from the prison shooting and the children collecting the bullets, are like, no, the kids should be kids. And that's another fight in the community. How to create a family feelings, a family day, a family culture. We don't have a family culture. Yeah, we have a family culture, but you have a boy that he's having a stone throwing on the vehicles of the army, and they could be martyrs. And when you ask the children, what do you want to be? They have no clue about the future. They don't think about the future. They want to be martyrs. They want to be fighters. No one thinks, if you tell them, okay, let's have an adventure. What adventure? Let's go to the mountain, make a picnic. They will be in their bands. Because this is for them, they cannot think in this way. He think about how to claim the tank and take down the gun. Tell him like, okay, tell me what your dream to become in the future. He will like, what? They can't even face that. Or tell them what you planning to do tomorrow and after, away from this, they cannot think about that. And for me, this is a problem when a child do not have dreams, do not have imagination. And that's our work, to bring them inside the theater to play.
Yeah.
Your time is not to free Palestine. It's not to free the world. It's not your responsibility to having all this weight in your shoulder. Now, be a child and let's play. You are safe here to play, to be whatever you want, to dream whatever your dream is, to go, but it's here.
Yeah.
And that's for us is the main core to try to save it. So that's why we do summer camp, we do winter camp, plays for children. They come train every week, but it's not enough. It's not enough comparing to reality. And inshallah, this the second plan is to create a children club in the Jenin camp, in the middle of Jenin camp, to be a club. Like children can come when they ever want. There is no specific time. They can come, sit, see a movie, play something, watch, radio. And I want to create a Palestinian DJ, a Palestinian radio, not only Palestinian fighter and actor. No, there is many different things we need to focus about. So this place where really can be children to children all the time without a specific workshops or whatever. So there is a place where they can be children, speak to each other as a children. That's the plan, inshallah.
And two great examples of kids that, one of the students I met 2 years ago, his handshake was like air. I will not mention his name to expose him, but he was so thin and fragile, and you told me that it's been a battle to get him into the theater and strengthen his self-awareness and
Many
standing tall.
examples.
Yeah,
Many examples.
self-esteem. And he was too shy maybe to be an actor, but then he started to maybe do other things, and amazing job, impressive job. And then comes the invasion and arrests maybe, or shoot someone, and it's all these challenges you face interrupting your excellent work and important work with kids. And also now with Ranin Ode, who's working with the children's program. I saw her workshop in June. And the way she worked with not kids, not the smallest, youngest child, but the youth ones, the way they had written their own stories, they're working with their own tests, and she challenged them until they broke down and released their emotions because they're bottled up, right?
Yeah, but that's the thing, we do not have this kind of culture of
but it's so important.
Of talking, of psychology. Like we had a big problem with mental health, which we also in the Freedom Theater we mentioned and we tried to push to talk about, because in our culture you do not have a space for I want to talk about my feelings. You have to be a man, you have to be strong. We're all heroes, and for me, no, heroes are a human being.
Yeah, exactly.
And the human being, there is needs. And for me, I remember when we had time, like a bit chill time, where we really focused on the child and youth program, and we worked in a good way. We talk about 200 almost child, boy, girl. When they come, we talk about 6 months. Come shy, cannot raise their eyes from the floor, and they cannot stand beside the girl, or and 6 months. Even the women, the mothers came to see the graduation from the workshops. They were in shock. Storytellers. We create storytellers. Because the class is also tradition. You go to the school, you have a teacher with a stick. It's boring, it's about hitting, it's about good one, bad one, and many of them, they don't even care about what the teacher is talking about. So they're not used to talk, they are not used to tell, they are not used to express themselves. Because always there is a bigger, in my house, there is my father or my old brother where they control the house. You cannot speak. In the street, there's the bad guys where you don't have a space to express. As a child, in the school is the same. In the kindergarten, the same. So where as a child you're gonna grow up with a culture that to express yourself and talk and you have space? Only in that theater, in that place. And you see how you put a seed in the community from these children. They did theater, they're storytellers, and they know how to tell about their feelings in a different ways, as really artistic tools. So that's for me, that's a success. But we need it to continue. It's not enough for one time or for...
And the situation, the technical equipment, for instance, like we're trying, it's the theater, as you mentioned, the roof is almost breaking down. I mean, the windows are broken, the doors are... the situation, it needs to be rebuilt in many levels. But bringing equipment, demanding first and foremost an end to the occupation and a safe place to live, which is not at the moment. I mean, your students, the students who have been here, who we haven't spoken about the fact that they were denied a visa coming to Norway in the beginning, which is again absurd. Norway are denying Palestinian students a visa to come to Norway to participate in a school collaboration where a Norwegian school, Nordic Black Theatre, have been given funding from governmental or Oslo Kommune to collaborate with the Freedom Theatre, and they are preventing them from doing their job. It's absurd. The students are going back to the invasions as we speak. As we are sitting here, there's a huge invasion ongoing. 9 people at least killed in the West Bank, 6 at least in Jenin. And I know all too well what they are going home to. And I feel the responsibility, as we should, all of us. We have met these amazing students, seen their performance, met Ahmed. We are responsible now to not just send them off home and that was interesting. We were touched by their performance.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Bye.
You know, we are really, so we need to put pressure and promise them to continue the work. Because Mustafa Sheta, their daily manager, is still in prison.
Yeah.
And the invasion,
I think that sums up perfectly, because we're talking about human lives, humanity, building playgrounds. It's just like super basic human needs that we need, and all the work that you do as well. It's just like a lot of things we take for granted, especially in the West.
I would just mention the website of Cultural Intifada. We made a website because many people ask us, what to do, how we can help. And, it's different people, from artists to normal to... So we did this website where you really you can have everything, resources, news, ways, artistic, and even we made a demand, what you could do, 15 demands, different ways, simple to complicated, and you choose how you can fit in the support or the anything to do for Palestine or in general for any case like Palestine. So please, culturalintifada.com.
We'll add it to the episode link description as well.
Is it .net?
.com.
Yeah,
The Culture Intifada.
Vibeke and Ahmed, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
It's really, thank you for sharing everything about the Freedom Theatre, and thank you for encouraging and learning and teaching Palestinians and promoting their work, and we really appreciate everything that you've done. I quickly would just want to ask you, this is a خلينا نحلم شوي. We're going to dream a bit. If or when Palestine is free, what do you look most forward to?
I don't have say more than Giuliano Merchami said, that we dream as a Freedom Theatre to become a generator for a forest, for a freedom forest to fight for others. So if Palestine is free, Freedom Theatre will move to other country where there is oppression, where there is colonization, occupation, Uganda, I don't know, Africa,
Sahara.
South America, wherever. There is a lot of places where it need an example like a Freedom Theatre to fight for values and for humanity. And yes, inshallah, I hope. I don't like to dream because through my life, hope, dreams, this is a kind of West. They knew well our language and our culture, so they used the words to make us, waiting and waiting and waiting. Hope for me, working now. If you are having a hope, do something now. So with the hope, gonna something change. Not to sit and hope for a future. And for me, it's not a dream. For me, if Palestine is free, which is, for me, if it is free, that means the whole world is free. That's why I think it's a very complicated case. It's not something easy happen tomorrow. But I hope that in every country, in every place, have the same situation of Palestine. We create theaters, we create culture that connect to each other and making a network that we can fight for each other. Yes, I believe.
I share the dream.
You share the dream.
I share the dream.
Yes.
In it together.
Yes. Inshallah.
A borderless world without
Yes,
passports.
Exactly. Thank you so much, and
Thank you.
good luck on your the rest of your.
That's mean
Yeah.
the trip is not easier.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more harder now because as much you know, as much you do, they know about you. Then you have to be more, updated. And really, thank you very much for this interview. I think it's good for me because sometimes I need to update myself what I'm believing. So yeah, thank you very much for having us.
And free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
No doubt.
No doubt. Thank you.